All right, let's get right into it. I want to ask you one of the biggest, most fundamental questions there is. Who are you? And yeah, I know, it sounds simple, right? But the answer? Well, the answer is this incredible, mind-bending paradox that connects ancient philosophers all the way down to the very atoms that make you up.
So let's really dive in. I want you to pause for just a second and really honestly answer this question for yourself. Think back 10 years. Think about who you were, what you wanted, what you were scared of, even the literal stuff your body was made of. Are you, the person listening to this right now, the exact same person? You know, your gut reaction is probably, yeah, of course I am, right? You've got this unbroken chain of memories that ties you directly to that person from 10 years ago. But, and this is where it gets really strange, biology says something completely different. It says, nope, not even close. Your memories might feel continuous, but your atoms, they're telling you that you are a total and complete stranger to who you were back then.
So, what's going on here? This whole feeling, this paradox of being the same person but also being completely different. It's not a new problem, not by a long shot. In fact, to really get a handle on it, we have to go way back, thousands of years, to an ancient Greek riddle that just perfectly nails this exact problem. It's called the Ship of Theseus. So the story goes like this. The people of Athens wanted to preserve the ship of their legendary hero, Theseus. But, it's a wooden ship, so over the years, the planks started to rot. So they replaced them. One by one, they'd pull out a rotten plank and put in a new identical one. And they kept doing this until eventually, not a single one of the original planks was left. And that led to the big question. Is it still the Ship of Theseus?
Now, philosophers, being philosophers, couldn't just leave a question like that alone. They jumped all over it, and they came up with a bunch of different ways to try and solve it. Basically, a whole philosophical toolkit. And what's cool is, we can use these exact same tools to think about our own identity crisis. Okay, so here are the 4 big ideas they came up with. First, there's a mouthful called mereological essentialism. This one's pretty hardcore. It says you are the sum of your exact parts. So change even one single atom and poof, technically you're a new person. A little extreme, right? Then you've got spatiotemporal continuity. This is the idea that what matters is your unbroken journey through space and time. As long as you don't just blink out of existence and reappear somewhere else, you're still you. Then there's psychological continuity, which a lot of people find intuitive. This one says you're basically your software, your memories, your personality, your consciousness. That's the thread that connects you. And last, we have functionalism. This is all about the role you play. If it looks like you and acts like you, then it is you. And just when you think you're getting close to an answer, of course, another philosopher, Thomas Hobbes, has to come along and throw a wrench in the works. He asks this brilliant, annoying question. What if somebody collected all those old original planks they took off the ship and used them to build a second ship? Now you've got 2. One ship that's been repaired over time and another one that's built from all the original pieces. So which one is the real Ship of Theseus? The problem just got twice as hard. Okay, let's pull this paradox out of ancient Greece for a minute and bring it right into your own body. Because the crazy thing is, this isn't just some abstract philosophical puzzle. It is literally what is happening to you right now, every single second. Let's do a quick fire round of some mind-blowing numbers. First up, your skin. That entire outer layer, the part of you that you show to the world, it's totally new every 2 to 4 weeks. Gone. How about your red blood cells? The little guys rushing oxygen all over your body? Every 4 months or so, you get a completely new crew. The old ones are all retired. And this is the one that always gets me. Your skeleton. The thing you think of as the most solid, permanent part of you, right? It's completely rebuilt, totally remodeled about every 10 years. You literally do not have the same bones you had a decade ago. How wild is that? So what does all this mean? It means you're not a static thing made of stuff. You're much more like a whirlpool or a vortex. Matter is just constantly flowing through you. The atoms that make up your hand right now, a little while ago, they could have been in a dinosaur or in a star millions of light years away. They're just visitors, temporarily arranged in the pattern that is you. All right, so if you're not your physical parts, if you're not your atoms, then what the heck are you? Well, that brings us to the next logical idea. Maybe, just maybe, you isn't the hardware, but the software, the information, the pattern, the code that all those atoms are organized into. This is what some people call an information theoretic identity. Here's an easy way to think about it. Imagine your favorite book. Is the bookness of it tied to that one physical copy with its specific paper and ink? Of course not. The identity is the story, right? The pattern of the words. You could print it 1,000,000 times and it's still the same story. So maybe the self is just like that. It's the story, the information pattern running on the hardware of your brain.
But you guessed it, this idea has its own creepy problem. And it's another classic thought experiment, the teleporter paradox. Picture this. A machine scans your entire body, down to the last atom. It beams that information to a receiver on Mars. Now, to make sure there aren't two of you running around, the machine here on Earth, well, it destroys your original body. And then the machine on Mars uses that information to build a perfect atom-for-atom copy of you.
So here it is, the question that might just keep you up tonight. Did you actually travel to Mars? Or did you just die in that machine on Earth and a brand new clone, a perfect copy with all your memories, just woke up on Mars thinking the trip was a huge success? And if you're thinking, but wait, my memories prove it's me. Well, there's a problem there too. Neuroscience has shown us that memory doesn't work like a video camera. It's not a perfect recording. Every single time you remember something, you're actually rebuilding that memory from scratch. You're really just remembering the last time you remembered it. And every time you do, the data gets a little bit altered. The story of you is basically in a constant state of being edited.
So let's take stock. If we're not our atoms, and if our information and memories are kind of shaky and unreliable, are we just stuck in this paradox forever? Well, no, not at all. It turns out we might just be looking at it all wrong. The solution isn't about finding a new answer. It's about asking a completely different question.
And again, we can look to an ancient Greek to show us the way.
The philosopher Heraclitus said something brilliant over 2,000 years ago. He said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." He got it. He understood that the fundamental nature of everything is change. Everything is always flowing, always in flux, the river, and yeah, the person stepping into it. And this leads us to a really powerful shift in how we see things. See, this whole time, we've been treating the self like a noun, like an object, a thing, a ship, something that's supposed to be stable and found. But what if that's the mistake? What if the self isn't a noun at all? What if it's a verb? Not a thing you find, but a process that is always, always happening, like a river, just constantly flowing. I think this is the best metaphor for this idea. I want you to think of yourself not as a candle, but as the flame on top of it. The actual stuff, the wax, the wick, the oxygen from the air, it's all constantly changing, being used up and replaced. The atoms are in constant motion. But the flame itself, that process of burning, it keeps its shape, it continues. You're not the wax that's being consumed. You are the flame. The entire Ship of Theseus paradox, all of it, is built on the mistaken idea that we're a thing. But the moment you let go of that, the whole problem just dissolves. You don't have to worry about the teleporter creating a clone because there was never a static original you to copy in the first place. You are a continuous biological event, a process that holds its pattern over time. The paradox just disappears when you realize you are the dance and not the dancer.